to the OMG Hour.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 288 of the OMG Hour, recording today on March 8th, 2018. Of course, I am your host, Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane.
And I'm Jeff.
Welcome back, Jeff.
I'm back.
Welcome back. I am Chico, Mr. Second Place, still here.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, Jeff is no longer Kevin. He's
I'm not Kevin.
No, he's been transformed
Who's
back
Kevin?
into his regular self.
Who's this Kevin clown? You replaced me with some dude named Kevin?
We did.
Yeah.
Just
we have a
last
whole
week.
bunch of different guys named Kevin ready to step in case you ever take another day off.
That's right.
What?
That's what happens when you leave for a week, Jeff. We replace you.
Oh, man.
So, Jeff, I understand something exciting happened this week for you.
Many exciting things happened.
Do you want to start with that beautiful thing behind you?
Oh, that thing. Yeah. So I have been in the process for many, many weeks now, sourcing parts for a new computer, which I've started to assemble today. I am at the point now where it is all the parts are in. I'm getting ready to install all the drivers for everything and test it to make sure it's working before I put all the side panels on.
And you got all the fancy lighting on it. It's glowing there.
I got fancy lighting. Yeah,
nice.
It's changing colors right now. I don't know what color I'm going to make it eventually. I'm going to do some overclocking, but I can't do that until I get all my drivers in. So the idea is install Chrome, tell Microsoft, yes, I actually do want to install Chrome. I don't want to use Edge.
Right. Yes.
And then I'm going to get all the drivers installed and then do my overclocking. And then after that's all good, then I'm going to put all the side panels back on, and I'll take some video for next week. It's in a pretty sad state right now. If I turned it around right now, it would be a huge squid monster.
Of course.
Like just cables, guts. I haven't done any cable management yet, but it's going to look really good when I'm done. I just have to get there, and I will show that off next week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You had some interesting things happen though with your delivery today.
Right. Thank you for reminding me about that terrible, terrible time. So yesterday, I ordered everything a couple of days ago because I wanted everything to be here by the weekend because I'm on vacation next week. It's March break, and I wanted to have everything here so that I could play with it over the weekend. And so yesterday my case arrived. It's a Fantex Evolve something MATX case. I don't remember what it's called. It looks really, really nice. It's all steel and glass. Really cool looking case. And then today I was waiting for all the guts. So basically, absolutely everything in my computer over here is brand new, with the exception of my graphics card, because there is no way I am paying any of these prices for a graphics card, because I think we've already talked about on the show, the miners, they're driving the prices up and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I've still got my 1060, my superclocked 1060, which I'll replace one day. And then I got a bunch of stuff. I got the lights. I got my motherboard. I got, what else did I get here? I got a new hard drive that I'm also going to add a second hard drive in for an NVMe drive later. And then I'm going through the box, making sure I got everything. I got like glowy RAM and stuff. I'm like, ooh, exciting. Yeah, the RAM's actually really cool. I'm looking forward to showing everybody next week. And then I get to the processor, and I had ordered a AMD Ryzen 5 Series 1600, which is a really good processor. It's kind of like the go-to processor to get right now. And I take the box out. It's orange. I completely ignore everything, the ratings on it. You can always see the processor through this little plastic. So I look at the processor, and it did not say AMD Ryzen 5 1600. It said AMD Ryzen 3 1300X, which the difference between a Ryzen 3 and a Ryzen 5 is more or less the difference between a Core i3 and a Core i5.
Right.
So yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, man,
not the same thing.
Not what I wanted.
Nope.
So I was like, man, this sucks. I was like, I get on with Amazon chat, and I'm like, you suck. You're taking this back. You better not give me any trouble when I return the wrong thing. He's like, yeah, no problem. I'm like, good. And then I'm like, what am I going to do? And then I was like, well, I guess I'm going to go to Canada Computers, and I'll just get the one I want, and I'll return this one, and I'll probably pay a few bucks more. But then, Sean, you had talked to me earlier, and you're like, no, they'll price match you.
Yes, they will.
So I was like, sweet.
And was I right?
So I'll get there. And then, so I hop in my car. I live in Rockland. The closest Canada Computers is in Orleans, which is about a 20-minute drive away. So I drive to Orleans. I get there, and I'm like, hello, good sir. I would like to have an AMD Ryzen 5 1600. And he's like, sorry, sucker. Those were on sale last week, and we're all sold out.
Oh,
and I was
no.
Like, yeah.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, man, what am I going to do? So I was like, okay, no problem. What's the closest thing you've got? And he's like, well, I have an AMD Ryzen 1600X. And I was like, oh, the X. So the X is about $30 more. And it is what I bought. It's $30 more. But the difference is it doesn't come with any kind of cooler. So not only did I need to buy this, I also had to buy this.
Oh, which is a cooler.
Which is a cooler. It's an air cooler, which isn't what I wanted. I was actually going to put a water cooler on here, and I probably still will in a couple weeks. So I bought this. This was only $40. My water cooler is going to be about 180. It'll let me get much better temperatures than this. But then the Hyper 212 Evo is like the workhorse of the computer enthusiast. Everybody buys one of these things. So I didn't actually mind having one around. Because you never know. I mean, it's compatible with every socket and all that kind of stuff. Also, Ryzen, brand new processor, not brand new now, it's probably about a year old now or something, but socket AM4, brand new socket. No water coolers in that store supported this processor size. So
is this a better processor still, though? Like,
it is better. It is better.
But you had to pay more.
I had to pay more. And yes, they did price match it to a degree. So the price on Amazon was $40 cheaper. I do find Canada Computers to be a little more expensive. If it's on sale, it's usually a good price. But if it's not on sale, it's usually quite a bit more expensive than Amazon. So I said,
but they will price match
Amazon.
So. Yeah.
But he says, yes, but I have to include next day shipping. Like the most expensive shipping before I'll price match. And I was like, okay,
seriously?
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I was like, that's fine.
Oh,
because
they didn't do that for me.
Well, I get it. I mean, it's a pain in the ass. And I was like, there was no way I wasn't going to buy it anyway. So then I just dropped that. Thank goodness the processor's not in there. And then he was like, well, it's this much, but I can only do this much. And I was like, God damn. So anyway, so I got it much cheaper.
Just forgetting what show we're on here while telling his story.
Oh, did I swear?
Almost.
Oh, jeez. Okay, sorry.
It was a blur. Wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry, guys.
You didn't follow through.
I'm getting carried away because it was so frustrating. Anyway, I got all my parts, and then I came home and I had all the parts, and then I started putting stuff together. So that was an interesting adventure. And now I've got to go to Amazon or to Canada Post, and I got to send my old i3 or not i3, but Core i3 back. So that was.
While we're on the topic of building stuff, I do want to show off something I built over the last week.
Oh, okay.
So my family bought me for my birthday the Ultimate Collector's Edition Slave 1, Lego Slave 1, Star Wars, and which is something I've wanted. It's amazing. It is a massive, massive set, 2,000 pieces. Took me about 10 hours to build. I mean, this thing is incredible. For those of you on the video, I'm showing it here now on the video, but it's amazing. I am really thrilled with this. There's moving parts on it. The foils actually rotate as the ship lands. They auto rotate. They've been balanced so that they would rotate flat when the ship goes flat. It's like the workmanship on this Lego set is incredible. So I'm really happy with that. It's so cool. Hidden compartments, hidden missile launchers, everything. It's really cool. So I like it.
That's very neat. Yeah.
And it is a big set.
It's big. I remember watching you post images of it on Facebook.
And yeah, you couldn't really tell how big it was there, I guess.
You couldn't really tell. I was like, why is this thing taking him so long?
Sean's just really bad at Lego. That's what we assume.
Yeah,
right?
And I was like, what an amateur. And then when we joined the show today and you're sitting beside it, I'm like, it's bigger than his head.
It is
huge.
It is bigger than my head. Yes. It's about 2 of my feet, so it's about 20 inches tall.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, that is
I mean,
nice,
for those of you on the video,
nice,
this is
setup.
the Mario amiibo. I mean, he just gets lost down there beside it. Oh.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I got. But anyway, we are 10 minutes into the show. Let's talk about games. Games. Chico, why don't you start us off with your game review?
All right. So, Warner Brothers was kind enough to send us a copy of Scribblenauts Showdown.
Yes, please tell me what this is.
I want to know. I want to know
All right,
kids love that series.
So, for kids, it's fun. It's actually really fun to play, but it is a $50 retail.
Okay.
And that's my biggest problem with it. Is not that the game's not fun. I just don't think you're getting $50 of value out of what they give you.
Well, what is Scribblenauts Showdown?
Hold on. Question. Did you play the original Scribblenauts?
Yes.
Okay. Is it anything like that? Because the video does not make it.
So there's a couple of this. So this is the Showdown. This is sort of like a board game style with a bunch of mini games and stuff like that you use.
So it's Mario Party.
It's like a Mario Party, but there is the free play and the style. There are the sandbox modes and stuff like that you can go into that are the same as the original one as well. So you do get that with it as well. It's just the $50 price tag had me a little concerned for.
Well, that's expensive.
Mario Party is a full price game.
Yeah, I think that's also overpriced.
I agree. Actually, I think most Nintendo games are overpriced, but that's just me.
So, it does a pretty decent job on the console of allowing you to spell. So you've got basically with your D-pad, you'll press to one of 4 sets of letters, and then you use your buttons on the controller to select one of those letters. So it's pretty quick for spelling stuff out.
Okay.
It's fun. I mean, I think this would work a lot better on the Switch. With the touch and everything like that, but it's a very fun game. I actually really enjoy it. I just the $50 price tag really. This to me is like a $30 tops price point.
So where does the Scribblenauts-esque gameplay come into this? Because it just looks like mini games what you're showing us on the screen.
Yeah. So in the Showdown mode, there's a whole bunch of different mini games. There's 2 types of mini games. There are wordy mini games and there are speedy mini games. The speedy mini games is just a mini game that you play with your Scribblenauts character. You don't have to write anything. The wordy games are, it'll give you like the launch pad one, not launch pad, the tower defense sort of thing, where you're firing the things. You actually type in at the beginning of that round what you want to fire at the other person's castles.
And you can type anything you want?
Anything like giant pink elephants?
You could type in whatever you want there, and that's what it'll give you. So if you're smart about what you're going to use, particularly this mode here is it's like a Smash Brothers mode, and so you have to type out what weapon you want to use. And he picked a halberd, and I wanted to do something different, so I typed in hatchet, and I got one-shotted.
Yes.
Could I type in like Tyrannosaurus Rex?
You could. Well, that would have to start with H in that particular one.
It looks like in these games you're given a starting letter and you have to pick a word.
You're given a starting letter. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're limited to words that start with that letter, and in this particular case, you were limited to only weapons that start with H.
Yes.
So you're very limited in what you can type in these small mini games.
In your 20-second countdown too, that you have to think up a letter, think up something that starts with that letter too. So. It's fun. You do have your sandbox mode, so you'll get that, and you can find the stars and stuff like that, much like the original mode. So there's 10 different scenarios. There's like an Incan temple. There's a Titanic that you're on for one of them. So it's the same sort of thing. You have to go through and help the people and find the things. So the regular mode is there as well. I'm just the $50 price point is what really has me.
Yeah. I've never been a huge fan of Scribblenauts, to be honest with you. I liked the idea of it when it first came out, and then to me, it just wasn't kind of what I was hoping it would be. I can't explain why, but I just really couldn't get into it.
It's a fun game on a handheld, on a DS, on the Switch, on your iPhone. It's a fun little game on that. On the console, it's fun, but I think that it loses something with what they're charging for the game and what you get out of it.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I have a couple of reviews I want to talk about. First one, I think, Jeff, you may enjoy this one. It is a driving game. It's called Grovel, and it's an off-road. Well, it's all off-road stuff. It's all off-road cars, trucks, and it's even those kind of, the mud circuits where you see the
It's like rally racing.
It's rally. Thank you. This
looks like rally racing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got rally racing, but it also has those indoor circuits where the trucks are driving through the mud and up and over ramps.
Oh, okay.
So it's got that kind of stuff in it as well.
I don't remember what that's called.
Super
Monster
Cross.
truck.
But they're not monster trucks.
Something cross. Something
Motocross.
I don't know. Motocross is motorcycles. Anyway, it doesn't matter what it's called, but it is all very much dirt roads, sandy beaches. It's all off-road stuff. It looks good, plays really well. Like, it feels really, really solid as a driving game. Of course, it's got the rewind mode in it, which is great, especially because I hit a tree and I can rewind and go back. And then miss the tree, because that's important to miss trees.
I usually go back and hit the same tree a second time by accident. So
I've actually done that in things like Horizon. I hit something.
You feel really stupid when you do that. You hit. It's like, no, I'm going to rewind, and then you just hit the exact same one, trying to cut the corner the same way.
Mostly it's because we didn't rewind far enough to actually miss the skid itself. That's the problem.
I'm going to say that's what I do too. No, I actually just rewind far enough and still manage to hit it a second time.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, actually, it just plays really well. I was actually really impressed. Looks really good. Now, it's not like an open world thing. It is a, pick your next race menu option idea. So you're going through tournaments. You're racking up points and stars. More stars you have, the more tournaments you can open, and that sort of thing. So
it's very much like Drive Club. And probably 1,000 other racing.
Exactly, right.
It's the same sort of setup.
Yeah, it's not like an open world like Horizon does, where you go and find a race, or even the Need for Speed these days is just drive around until you find a race. Mm-hmm. This is just you finish a race, you're back at the menu. Sometimes I found it was a little bit of a slog going from one menu to another, like just between races. It's like, just get me to the next race already, There's a lot of setup. You can specify the time of day. I guess later on, of course, you're going to get multiple vehicles to choose from for particular races. But anyway, I had a lot of fun with it. And I was playing this, Jeff, and I'm thinking, this might be something you enjoy, because this isn't really arcade. It feels more like a sim when it comes to this kind of a game. Like, it's very much like you need to get the right line to pass the vehicle. Make sure you're finding the right line, the race line, even though it doesn't give you a race line. But I found it actually a challenge to always be in first. Like, a lot of racing game these days, it's like super easy to start with, right? This one wasn't. This one wasn't easy to get first place the first time you jump into it. So
who makes this, Sean?
I can't even remember the...
What's the
somebody's gonna have to look it up.
What platform are we looking at?
I'm playing it on PS4 Pro, which is the video we're watching. I can't remember the developer of it.
Milestone SRL.
Milestone. Okay. Doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah, I know, because I saw on the Xbox they actually have a season's pass for this, so they're planning on supporting it. Looks like. Yeah,
well, I think it's really well done. For a.
Self-published too.
Yeah, it's like a new entry in a new IP. I think they've done a fantastic job as sort of this unknown developer coming out with this kind of a game. We've seen these before, where new developers or indies have come out with racing games. They're not that great. This is actually really well done.
Yeah, it looks nice too.
Would you like to know why?
Sure.
I would love to know.
They have developed the following racing games: Ride 2, MotoGP 13, Monster Energy Supercross, Valentino Rossi the Game, MXGP Ride, MotoGP 15, MXGP 2, MXGP 3, Gravel Ducati 90th Anniversary, MotoGP 14, Mud World Motocross World Championship, WRC 4 FIA World Rally Championship, MotoGP 14, and it goes on and on and on.
They
not
know what,
very experienced.
They know what they're talking about when it comes to racing, is what you're saying.
I'm saying they may have made a few racing games in the past. They may have a pedigree of sorts.
Right? Yeah. But I enjoyed it. Jeff, you may enjoy it because it doesn't feel arcadey, is really kind of what I was getting at. It felt more like off-road sim than off-road arcade.
Awesome.
So, yeah, that's Grovel. And then I played a sequel to an old Wii game that I never actually got to play called Blob, and this is Blob 2. So I'm going into this thinking, okay, let's play Blob 2. I was always fascinated with the first one. You know, you're in this world that's the color has been stolen from the world, and you have to suck up the color and repaint the world to bring joy back to the world, basically. And it's a platformer. It's a 3D platformer. You're this little blob. You are the blob, and you go into these pools of color, and you can suck up one color at a time. And you have so much. I don't know what to call it. Like, it's units of paint that you can hold at any given time. And then there's ink as well. If you hit ink, you're poisoned, so you have to go clean yourself with clean water. Now, it plays well as a platformer. I found the camera controls a little bit wonky. Like, it didn't quite control the way I wanted. A little bit looser than I'd like, you know. But the concept seemed interesting. You know, go paint the town. Literally, go paint the town red. And as you're in the level I'm showing on the line on the video right now, as you clean up the houses, you actually release the citizens who have also been covered by these mats that take away their color, and by rolling over them, you restore them. So you have to restore all of the citizens as well. But I found after playing this for a while that I kind of felt bored. You know, it just like, okay, it was interesting at first, but it really didn't last that long. I'm like, yeah, I get it. But I'm not really all that interested in continuing to play it, you know, after playing it for a good hour or two.
I think I had the same problem with the first one.
Kid's game.
Oh, it is very much a kid's game, for sure. It's fun, it's cute.
Well, they'll do anything over and over and over again until the cows come home, right?
Yeah, there's lots of collectibles as well. It's one of those games where there's a lot of hidden things. You kind of want to just look around and see what's going on in the whole level, the whole world, and find what you've missed. But ultimately, I found it repetitive. You know, you're just doing the same thing over and over, like you just said, Jeff. And eventually, I got to parts where there were like, there's certain areas where you have to color those objects specific colors, you know, and then there was like a tower where you had to color the bottom yellow and the top red in one tower, and the other one was the opposite. So you kind of have to, okay, well, I'll color, as soon as you touch it, it turns that color. So as soon as I jumped on the base to get to the tower, the base turns red. So I have to turn the tower red first, then go get yellow and touch the base in order to actually complete that tower. So eventually you're going to get those complicated sort of puzzly ways of how do I get this painted without, like, all these different colors without screwing up one of the colors, you know. But ultimately I just found it kind of a boring platformer, you know. Controls felt a little strange like this because you have to suck up the color with the right trigger, and you have to hold left trigger and then the X button to jump and bounce onto things. Some of the controls felt awkward, so every time I had to do it, I had to think about it.
Why do you have to hold the trigger down before you can jump?
Well, to basically holding the left trigger goes into sort of a target mode where he'll target objects, and pressing X makes him sort of leap and jump onto those objects.
Wow, that sounds super kid friendly.
It's sort of a lock-on leap feature. Like, you can jump, but you can also lock on and then leap onto it by pressing X. So it's a little awkward, I found. But it's definitely a kid's game. I know a lot of kids would love this. For me, honestly, for us, I just found it boring. I don't think I'm going to go back to it, to be honest with you. But, you know, it was one of those games I've been curious about for years. Because it sounded interesting, you know, color a black and white world. But didn't quite live up to my hopes, I guess, as a platformer. What else did we play? We've got a few minutes left. Chico, you and I actually finished one of Jeff's favorite games from last year.
Okay, don't forget, I haven't talked about my game yet.
I know.
Yeah,
We'll get.
Okay.
I'll let you talk.
We'll let you maybe talk later.
All right.
Because this is my segue into you as well, because you've also played this game. What Remains of Edith Finch?
Oh, that's a great game.
Such a good game. So this is a walking simulator. And it just tells a story about this family. You talked about it last year, sometime late last year. So I won't stay too long on it, but I was really impressed with it. This is good. Edith going through her family house, learning about all of her ancestors and how it always tells the story about the day that person died. It's the day of their death. And she's learning about these things that she never knew about, her parents never told her about. And it's really well. Like, she's narrating it as she's writing a sort of a journal. And what I really liked about it was each character's story is told in such a unique and different way every time.
Yeah.
One of them is a story where all you're doing is basically taking photographs. And as you take a photograph, it unlocks the next piece of that little story. Another one, you're actually playing as a baby in a bathtub. It's like all these different characters, and every single one of them tells a different story in a very different and unique way. It's about, I looked at my time from the first achievement to the last was about 2.5 hours long. And that's to complete it 100% every achievement. The story, I think
it's about the same for me.
Yeah, the story itself took me about 2 hours to get through, and then I went back in to grab a couple extra achievements. But really well done, beautiful game. I had an absolute blast playing this. It's an amazing story too.
Yeah.
Really,
It's such a pretty game too. Like, it has such a great art style to it. Like, it really felt, I don't know, it's like it truly feels like a comic book, like you're reading through a comic book.
Yes.
Sort of feel to it.
In fact, one of them is a comic book.
I'll be honest with you. If they made a game of nothing but like those old Vault of Terror, Vault of Horror, Crypt Keeper comics into a game like that, I would buy that in a second. I actually absolutely love that story, that little mission.
Yeah, it was good. Really well done. Loved it. So with that, I know, Jeff, because you loved that game last year, this is a good segue into letting you talk about the game you played this week.
Sure. I've actually talked about this game before on this show, but it was many, many moons ago. That game is Armored Warfare. Originally, I had played it on the PC, but very recently it came into full release on PlayStation 4 and I believe Xbox One, but I could be wrong on that. Have you seen it in the store there, Tico?
I have not seen this in the store.
Okay, so maybe it's only on PlayStation 4. But anyway,
because Tico knows all the games in the Xbox store.
Listen,
well, he does.
I would have been on my list if it was there.
He does know it. So anyway, I've played a lot of PC games that have been ported to console. We're going to be playing another one tomorrow, and
that's right.
I have got to say that this is another one of the good ports. Everything has been done well. The UI, the controls, the game modes, the simplification of the game in some ways, everything has been done really, really, really well.
Wow. Surprising.
And the game is super fun to play, with the exception of one thing. The default control scheme, while it may sound more intuitive, is terrible. It's the same issue I had in World of Tanks. World of Tanks I never liked because it was too hard to play because the controls were garbage. The default controls in this are also garbage, but they give you an alternate mode that makes the controls really, really good, with the only caveat that you shoot with a bumper instead of the trigger, but gas is on the trigger, and that makes the game playable.
Okay.
So, really, really, really fun time. I sat down, I've played the PvE co-op missions, where it match makes you with other players, and then you go into these maps and you have objectives, and you've got to capture things, and you've got to, there's primary objectives and secondary objectives, and there's difficulty levels that you can do. And then I've played what do they call it, Global Conquest mode or something like that, which is 2 teams of human players and a 3rd team of AI, all sort of battling it out in this battlefield style point capture thing, where every couple of minutes the points all move and shift around the map. And then so everybody's struggling to capture all the stuff, and it's like this really big team battle. There's also 10v10 multiplayer straight up, like PvP, which I have not tried yet, because I've been having too much fun with the other two modes.
You really like the tank games, don't you?
This one is my favorite of all tank games. The only problem with it on PC is that nobody else agrees with me and nobody plays it.
Oh.
So, but it plays really, really well on console. I was really, really impressed. And another thing, you know, a lot of what people who don't like World of Tanks, one of their big complaints about it is that it's a very slow game. In World of Tanks, it is very, very slow paced, like 20 seconds between shots. You literally move at about 1 mile an hour. In this game, yeah, there's still tanks that move in that speed, but there's also tanks that go really, really fast. So if you like having that like really fast actiony type gameplay, you can totally do that. If you like having that I'm a giant behemoth with a massive gun, then you can do that too. The class that I'm playing in all the videos here, it's the sniper tank. So I've got really long range, and interestingly enough, really fast reload, which is really unusual in tank destroyer type classes. So I'm fast, I reload fast, big gun. The only thing I don't have is armor, so I better not get shot.
Okay. So you're powerful, you've got long distance, but if someone hits you, you're dead.
Yeah, you'll see it in a little bit.
You're like a mage. You're soft and squishy.
Yeah, I'm very squishy. You're going to see it here. Well, actually, maybe you can already see it. My video is very delayed for some reason. But I'm going to get shot once, and it's going to take off like 3/4 of my health. Yeah. It's really bad. So.
All right.
And that's it. So I highly recommend this game. Okay. Very, very highly. They did a great job.
Now.
It's made by Obsidian. Again, I have to remind everybody. The great RPG developer.
Wow.
It's made in cooperation with Obsidian and My.com, which is a Russian publisher.
Yeah.
And then there's another Russian developer also working on it.
Obsidian is so versatile when it comes to games, though, to be honest.
Really, really are, yeah.
So before we move on to Lost Treasures, there is one game. Sorry, Tika, we don't have time for all of your games today.
That's okay.
But there is one game I really need you to explain to us.
Oh, no, I don't think I can explain it.
And I really need to know why
I can talk about it.
I need to know why you bought it. It is a game called North. You need to explain this. What is this freaky, weird-looking thing?
Okay, so I have no idea what the story is.
I don't know what this game is.
I really don't. Like, it is... So, okay, I played What Remains of Edith Finch, and absolutely loved him. Like, okay, walking simulator. What else is there out there? North is one that just came out. It was $5. I had heard also easy achievements. So...
Yeah. Can I say that I read a review today on this that said the only reason to buy this game is for the achievements. Literally. That is what the review said.
Yeah,
Is it really that bad?
It's just, it's not that it's bad. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on with it, so I can't say like if there's some sort of underlying thing they're trying to get across, maybe they do and I just didn't get it. But it's just so bloody weird. I have no idea what's going on, so I can't really say it's bad because maybe their intention is to, you know, some sort of, I don't know. It's weird. Like there's one point where I failed a mission, and it kicked me back out. Like I died and I had to restart, but I had collected all the things I needed to collect in the mission, so it wouldn't let me back into the mission, and it just let me continue on my way.
So for those of you not watching the video. These images we're seeing on screen are just so whacked. Like, nothing makes sense in this game. That's how weird this game is.
Imagine, like, the dream sequences in Twin Peaks.
I haven't seen Twin Peaks.
It's that... Well, or I don't know, it's just a really weird collection of... You saw the X-Files episode, though, where they made fun of Twin Peaks, right?
I've seen every X-Files episode, so...
Well, then there you go. No, it's just weird. It's like nothing really makes sense. It is a very odd game. I have no idea what's happening in it.
So you bought it because you heard easy achievements.
I heard easy achievements. It was $5 and I wanted to play a walking simulator.
You have a problem.
I'm aware I have a problem. I did finish it. I have the full 1,000 gamer score on it.
Of course you do.
So, I mean, at least there's that. But
All
yeah,
right.
it's a very weird game.
So
It looks weird.
So you're saying go buy it?
If you want achievements, go ahead and grab it. I mean, I believe that the speed run on it is like 13 minutes for the full gamer score.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Count me in.
So.
Oh man. Okay. Well, on that note, let's move on.
Lost treasures with your gaming archaeologist, Sid Bolton.
It's pretty clear that Super Mario Bros. Inspired all kinds of other games. Some were direct clones, while others drew inspiration and created something new and imaginative. Creatures from Epyx Computer Productions and Thalamus Limited definitely falls in the latter category. Released in 1990 by the Rollins brothers, Steve and John, Creatures is one of those games that flies under most people's radar, and yet it is a pretty amazing game for the time. As a later release in the life of the Commodore 64, it definitely took advantage of all the technical knowledge that programmers had learned over the years, and it offers a very smooth and advanced graphical experience for the time. It's hard to believe now that games like this were done by only a couple of people, but in this case, John did the coding and Steve did the graphics and the music. One of the most interesting things about this game to me is that the imagination that went into the creature design. The game was popular enough to be ported over to the Atari ST and the Amiga, although I don't think it gained as much traction there as it did on the Commodore 64. Part of that might have been because the publisher of the game was also the owner of Zap 64 magazine, and while that might have turned off some people, it just meant that the game got extra coverage in the magazine and its development was chronicled, and that may have made it a little bit more popular than it would have been otherwise. At the end of the day, though, it's still a gorgeous-looking game and sounding game, and it's very fun to play. Some will argue that Mayhem and Monsterland is the best game that Apex ever released, but I really like Creatures, and I think it deserves a little more attention. You can play it today on the real hardware, of course, but it's also available on emulators, and there are options that hackers have included to give you infinite lives and health. An interesting note about most of the games produced by the brothers is that you could enable cheats by pressing Ctrl and 2 at the same time, which happen to be the keys that are triggered by the Commodore 64's first joystick port. Some users found that by wetting their finger and sticking it into the joystick port, they could cause an electrical short, and the cheat would be triggered. While we don't recommend this, it's quite an unusual way to turn cheats on, and it certainly would have been something that was passed on from player to player and talked about quite a bit back in the day. Check it out. Until next time, I'm Sid Bolton, your gaming archaeologist, digging up the lost treasures for you, right here on OMG Nexus and the OMG Hour.
OMG.
Okay, before we move on to the stuff we like to talk about, Chico, I have to ask a serious question.
All right.
If North had no achievements, would you have bought it?
I don't buy anything that has no achievements.
Okay.
And so absolutely not. I would have looked at it and said, walking simulator with no achievements. What am I going to get out of that?
What's the point?
Exercise.
Right?
Come
It's
on.
walking.
Virtual exercise. With no achievements, I probably would have left that unpurchased. But with the achievements and the fact that I was a little bit on a walking simulator high there because of Edith Finch, it suckered me in.
Jeff and I learned about a new walking simulator for VR coming soon, so we're looking forward to that. I can't remember the name offhand, but it looked really... Torn, I think it's called.
Torn, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it looked really cool. It looked like a walking simulator with puzzles and interaction, but in VR. So you're looking forward to that, because I said last week that the station would be beautiful in VR, because a walking simulator with interaction with the Move controllers would be great use of VR.
Yeah, that's the thing. Station, then Edith Finch, 2 walking simulators in a row that were fantastic.
And then you played North.
I fell into the trap there.
You sullied your palate with North.
That's how they get you, Sean.
I got to tell you, though, Sean, I'm about ready to trade in my VR. I'm so disappointed about Bravo Team.
Apparently,
I cannot even believe
are bad.
how bad the reviews are on that game. And how they screwed it up, they've got an aim controller. It's an aim controller-centric game. That's what every review said, except they made it teleport to move. Only you're not even teleporting. You're like jumping out to third person, watching a guy run across the screen and then zipping into his head again.
Yeah,
Come on.
From what I was reading, though, it was more like an on-rail, like it just moved you automatically, no?
No, you kind of get to choose. It's like there was a game like that a long time ago, where all you could do was move from cover to cover to cover. It's like an old Xbox original title.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what was it called?
I don't know.
Anyway, it's kind of like that. You can't move freely. All you can do is move from cover to cover to cover. I can't remember what it was called.
remember Quantum something. Is it with a Q maybe?
I don't remember.
Was it like a war like a Gears of War sort of clone?
No, it was more like modern military type deal. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm disappointed. I'm going to trade my VR in for like an ice cream cone or something to cheer myself up.
I'm not there yet. Sorry. I actually still really enjoy VR. I've got lots of VR games that are worth going back and playing, and I still jump into VR occasionally to play some stuff. I mean,
I enjoy it too. I just feel really let down by Sony.
Oh, I hear you. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm certainly not ready to give up on it. But anyway,
Give up, Sean.
no, I will never give up, because by giving up, if we had given up, we would never get things like Defiance 2050. Do you remember Defiance, Jeff?
I do remember Defiance.
Defiance we were playing Defiance.
I like that game.
Me too. We were playing that when Destiny was announced, and then the Destiny beta came out, and I think we were both like, man, Destiny feels like the game Defiance wanted to be.
Yes, I remember saying that.
Yes.
You're right. We totally said that
We
back
did,
in the day.
absolutely, because we loved Defiance, and then Destiny came out like, yes, this is like the perfect thing. You know, it kind of hits the points that Defiance missed. Well, they're remaking Defiance. They're bringing it to the current platforms. They're doing a remaster and sort of a remake. So they're revamping the engine. They're making things better. So it's not just a remaster with better graphics, but they're remastering the engine. They're fixing stuff that didn't work, kind of taking ideas from the users over the years to make things better, and then they're relaunching it as Defiance 2050 this year on console. So I am so excited for this.
I'm excited too. I think it's going to be great. The few things they had to fix, I remember Defiance had missions, like weird random missions that were like, oh, this one's single player.
Right.
And you're like, oh, that sucks.
Yes.
And then, but Defiance had other great stuff, like an open world where you're running into other players, just like Destiny. It had massive public events that were, in a lot of ways, more massive than any public event in Destiny.
Yeah.
They had vehicles, like
it was great jumping on a vehicle.
Really great vehicles that drove really well and were legitimately fun to drive. One of the best driving like mounts, for lack of a better word, in any MMO I've ever played, I think.
Yeah, those public events.
Obviously, Destiny's up there.
The public events were fun. Those were the Arc Falls, right?
Yeah, there was a bunch of different kinds of them.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of different ones, and they were all really fun. I mean, the game needed more depth, I think, was the big thing with that game.
Yeah.
But it's kind of nice now that they did a lot of, like, they made some really good, fun core mechanics. Now they've seen games like Destiny come out. They've seen I don't know if you guys know, but like what's that game? Warframe has done aped a lot of ideas from Destiny in the last couple years, where they have like public areas now, like explorable areas like Destiny has. I think they could do really well. I don't know if gamers will give them a second chance. I think a lot of people found Defiance a little, it had too many shortcomings, but I would urge anybody to give it a try. I mean, the shooting's fun, the driving's fun, the quests are fun, voice acting's good.
I enjoyed the TV show because I watched the TV show because it was a shared world with the game, and they had a couple of crossover events between the game and the show, which was cool. And characters as well came from the game. And in fact, the main characters debuted in the game and then were in the TV show. Which was cool. And what I found with Defiance was that it got to a point later on, I think you crossed into like a new area of the map, and then I found it like really difficult to solo. You know? And a lot of these MMO games are like that, I find, where they kind of let you solo to a certain point, and then they make it so hard that you have to group with someone.
You have to team up, yeah.
Yeah. That's been getting better, I find, in a lot of the games that I've been playing lately, like that you can solo, but then there's also group content and that's where it starts. Like, you can't do any of this stuff. Guild Wars was like that.
Yes.
I'm almost finished. I've almost finished Guild Wars 2, and I could probably solo the end of it.
Yeah.
You know, without any help. But then there's lots of like good dungeons and stuff like that. Aeon was hard as nails, wasn't it?
Yeah, like level 25. All of a sudden, it was like this huge wall.
Yeah, that was one of those games that was really brutal.
Yeah.
Really brutal, actually. I remember that game. I remember I was playing that with Miranda at the time, and the two of us hit a wall playing together.
Yes, yeah, I know. We all did. We all hit the wall at the same time. We all hit level 25. I remember the map. Like I know I can still picture the map where I hit the wall where I just couldn't go any further. But you know what's funny about reading about Defiance 2050 last week is that I had actually, as much as I loved Defiance, I had actually forgotten about it because of Destiny and Destiny 2. And then I was like, Defiance 2050. Oh right, Defiance. I loved that game. But I had completely put it out of my mind, you know, because of Destiny. But there is a beta coming up, so you can actually if you look up Defiance 2050 online, you can sign up for the beta.
Also, if you've got one of these gaming PC things, you can go play Defiance right now, because the PC version is on Steam for free. It's free to play.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
The 360 version is still free as well, if you happen to have that still up and running.
I do still have it on 360, yeah.
Yeah, that's free to play now there as well.
So Glenn is on watching us right now. He says he still jumps into it occasionally. And he said, if you were never able to get across the Golden Gate Bridge in Defiance, you can now. They got rid of the robot thing that would kill you if you got too close.
We got across it.
We did. That's where I hit the wall, was across the Golden Gate Bridge in that area. There was all just a whole bunch of robots around this destroyed building. That's where I kind of hit the wall, where it was really difficult to solo. You had to be really careful.
I don't remember why I stopped playing that game, but it was probably that. I mean,
well, I think we stopped playing it because of Destiny.
Yeah, maybe
honestly,
that's true.
It really was that time. We were playing Defiance, and then Destiny came out. Yeah, or Division. The Division came out, and then Destiny. I don't know. No. Division came later. Never mind.
Did you see, or maybe you told me, somebody showed me Division 2 was teased today.
Well, look at your show notes.
You should maybe look at the show notes, Jeff.
Oh, is that in? I am in the show notes. I don't even see it.
Oh, it's right here. It's official. Division 2. I'm sorry. That's fine. I don't care. Whatever.
It's a good segue.
It worked. So Division 2 was announced today. It's official. It was official with a Ubisoft tweet that said, "See you at E3 2018," with the Division 2 logo. So yeah, I'm excited. It's not an add-on. It's a whole new game, which I am hopeful for, because we have seen many, many times over that when Ubisoft releases a game and then releases a sequel, the sequel is by far like 100 times improved over the original. Assassin's Creed 2, Watch Dogs 2, you know, anytime they release a game, they listen to their players. They look at what worked, what didn't work, and what people liked, what they didn't like, and they fix it. They make it better. They make it the game you expected it to be, type thing, you know?
There was a lot to like about Division. A lot. It's
exactly.
It's a different wall, but once you hit that wall, the game is over if you don't love PvP.
That's right.
Like, you know, and that's too bad, because I like PvP, but I didn't like that PvP. That was some of the most nerve-wracking, annoying PvP I've ever played. It was rage-inducing PvP.
It was, especially knowing that at any moment, anyone in that area could just kill you.
Including the people you're working with.
Including the people you're with, exactly. So, Yeah, I'm excited. Division 2, I'll be right there. Everyone knows how much I think we all love the Division a lot. In fact, Jeff, you and I have been playing it occasionally recently. Again, we picked it up for PS4.
Yep.
And so maybe this time we'll make Tico buy Division 2 on PS4.
No, you guys have to buy it on PC now. I got that. Remember?
PC.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my PC won't run.
No.
Bring it here. I'll put some lights in it. Lights speak your PC 100% faster.
Excellent.
I might have some extra ones.
Well, I got a flashlight. I'll just set that on top, and there we go.
Well, while we're on the topic of Ubisoft also announced Far Cry Arcade as part of Far Cry 5. They've announced so much for Far Cry 5 already. 3 DLC packs, which is actually, we didn't even talk about it, but really weird DLC packs. Like, they're not new stories, they're just separate. They're kind of like, imagine Far Cry Blood Dragon, you know, as a separate thing, but 3 different things in Far Cry 5
which could be standalones. Yeah,
they're all they all could be standalone, but they're all part of the season pass. One of them Jeff will love.
Standalone.
Jeff will love one of them because it's zombies.
You need zombies.
Yeah, and I can't even remember what the other 2 are, but Far Cry Arcade sounds very cool. It is a map editor / mission editor, story editor, where you can create your own scenarios using assets from Far Cry, Watch Dogs, and Assassin's Creed. And you can create your own world.
It sounds pretty fun, actually.
It sounds cool, and you can play these games, apparently, in-game by finding arcade machines. And that's where you would basically start playing the arcade.
That's weird.
Yeah, I know.
It's weird but fun. Like, so much is coming to this game. Like, even Far Cry 3, they're remastering it with this game as well.
Yeah, it's going to come later, though. But
it's still part of it.
You're getting a remastered single-player campaign of Far Cry. Is it 3 or 4? 3.
3.
Yeah.
3.
Wow. So, here's the deal. We all know that we're going to play Far Cry, and Sean, you and I are going to talk about bow and arrowing yokels in the head in a couple weeks when it comes out. Yeah. But I find those Far Cry games to be too big to finish.
I've never
finished one.
Agreed.
Never.
Yep.
I've played all of them except for the first one. I didn't finish Far Cry 2, and I played it for like 7,000 hours. Same thing with 3. Same thing with 4. Oh my gosh, did I ever play a lot of
3, 4,
Never finished
and
it.
Primal I have played.
I finished all 3 of those.
Primal because that game looked terrible.
It actually wasn't. It was amazing.
It was really, really good.
It was
I heard
really
that
good.
It was the worst, and then everybody that liked it was also the worst.
Well, I
That's
agree
just what I
that
heard.
we are probably the worst. I'll agree with you there. But
no,
I
really enjoyed Primal. Really did. I thought it was really well done.
There's no guns. It's all bow and arrow.
That's right. It's bow and arrow and like spears.
That makes sense.
It's so cool. I actually thoroughly enjoyed Primal, but I didn't finish it. I think I got further in Primal than I did 4.
Oh, see, I have the full 100%. I have full gamer score on Primal.
Nice.
How much spare time do you have?
Oh, Chico doesn't actually work.
Oh.
They might be listening.
It sounds pretty cool, and it sounds like it'll be fun to hop in and do some multiplayer arcade stuff. Yeah. It could be good.
So I'm going to skip the last piece of news because I really want to just discuss the current events right now and just get your guys' thoughts on what's going on. So, of course, we all know that ever since the shooting a couple weeks ago, now the Trump administration, again, we've seen this happen before, with the Obama administration did it 5 years ago. Now they're blaming video games for violence in teens. So
well, they're not. I mean, what they're doing is they're trying to change this. They're trying to change the story from actually what it is, which is the NRA and issues with firearms in the U.S. to something else. They're trying to change the narrative.
So Trump is meeting with a list of people in the gaming industry. They've got. Does anybody have the list up of who's going to be there? There's going to be someone from ZeniMax Media. There's going to be someone from Take-Two Interactive.
Well, you say is going to be. The meeting is done.
Oh, was
Today.
it? Was it
happened
today?
It was today.
It was
Oh,
today.
it was today.
It's done.
Okay. Sorry, I thought
Yeah.
it was. I thought it was tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to find the list of people. Of course, there's going to be 3 senators there. Then there's CEO of Take-Two Interactive, Strauss Zelnick. There is Robert Altman, Chairman and CEO of ZeniMax. That's it, actually, isn't it, for the gamers, for the gaming people? They've got 2 people there.
Wait. No. There's ZeniMax. There's
Take-Two.
Take-Two. There's the ESA, and then there's the ESRB.
Oh, I don't have the... sorry, you're right. President of the ESRB is there. Pat Vance.
Yeah.
Correct. The other side of that is they have these proponents, the people against games and violence, who are very outspoken. My issue with this, and the same article that we're linking to, is that they don't have anyone in there, like the psychologists, they've got people on one side that are pro games, they've got the anti-gamers on the other side, but they have nobody in the middle who are sort of non-biased, who have actually studied this very thing.
Yeah.
So you and I were talking about this earlier today, and the question that I ask is there a single non-biased study that has been done?
There's been lots of studies done.
There's been lots of studies
But
done.
non-biased.
But they've all had to been paid for by somebody. Scientists don't work for free. Who paid for the studies?
Yeah, I have no idea.
A lot of the times, it's the ESA and the ESRB, and like they're getting studies done, and they're working with universities and all that kind of stuff. But that's to find like actual people that are completely unbiased that had the money to do a study like this
That have no agenda.
Yeah, it would be very, very rare. The fact is that I'm gonna read a statement from the ESA head post meeting. Okay.
Yeah.
We welcomed the opportunity today to meet with the president and other elected officials at the White House. We discussed the numerous scientific studies establishing that there is no connection between video games and violence, First Amendment protection of video games, and how our industry's rating system effectively helps parents make informed entertainment choices. We appreciate the president's receptive and comprehensive approach to this discussion. And they went on to describe the meeting as respectful but contentious.
Oh, but contentious.
And this isn't the first time that
No, it's
they've
not.
done this, right? Because the video game industry and all the friggin' Mothers Association, Talking Heads people all came together at one of the other shootings. I can't even remember
It was
which one.
5
because
years
there's been
ago.
So many. To talk to
think
Joe Biden.
It was after Sandy Hook. 5 years
With Sandy
ago.
Hook?
Yeah.
There you go. And they met with Joe Biden, and it was the same thing. Everybody was like, yes, everybody was very respectful, but it was very uncomfortable, and blah, blah, blah. And they brought out all the same studies all over again. You know, it's getting to the point now. I mean, let's face it, guys, we're old. We vote.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Originally it was rap music. You know,
rock
people
and
that
roll.
grew up with rock and roll, people that listened to rock and roll and had all the talking heads come out against that, they're in their 50s and 60s now. Then it was rap music, then it was comic books, then it was Dungeons and Dragons. Like, all those people are
Right?
getting old.
Yeah.
This is not a long-term problem.
This isn't a problem at all.
Well, no, it's not. It is a problem in so much the fact that we keep getting dragged in front
Get
of
dragged
yeah.
into it.
to have to prove that no, we've done the studies.
Why-
We're not violent. Blah blah blah. We have entertainment. We have the ESRB ratings. We've got systems. We can prove statistics and all that kind of stuff. But long term, 10 years from now, nobody's going to be doing this anymore. It's
Well,
going
that's
to
what we
be.
thought 10 years ago.
Mm,
Why is it? Why? It's only ever in the U.S. that this happens. Okay. Why is it they don't realize? You know what? U.S. governors, president, video games are not just played in your country. Video
But
games. Let me finish. The same video games, the Call of Duties, whatever that they want to blame, they are played all over the world by millions and millions of people. Yet the problem only exists in the U.S. How do they not see this picture?
They don't care. That's not the point. They're elected officials.
Yeah.
don't give a damn about what the problems actually are. They need to get elected to keep
the
their
video
jobs.
video game companies are not contributing to their campaign like the NRA is.
They're just scapegoats.
So they don't care because they're not getting any money. So they're figuring this is going to get us the attention that we need to get the votes from, angry mom and dad and stuff like that. That's what they're going for. They're going for votes. It's a hot button issue right now, and they're trying to change the narrative from guns to video games.
Yeah, of course.
And the NRA has been doing that forever.
Oh, I know they
Forever and
have.
ever.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, that is the show for today. I have to go back to our show plans because I have to take us out.
Do a lot of reading, yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I know Glenn and JJ was on the line, and let me see, Brian was there as well. Thanks, guys, for joining us today. And thanks for interacting. Glenn was interacting quite a bit. I'm sorry I did not get to interact too much with Glenn today, but I appreciate it. So if you like the show, give us a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We only need 5 more people to subscribe, so tell all your friends, tell a whole bunch. I just had a hippopotamus for lunch. Sorry, every time. Zoodles. I always think of that. 5 more people subscribe. That would be awesome. I want to get to at least 100, then we can get our custom URL. Watch us Thursdays, 6 p.m. right here on the OMG Hour YouTube channel if you don't already. Live every Thursday night, except next week, where we're going to record on Wednesday because I am leaving for a business trip for a week. So come watch us next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Of course, I am your host, Sean Evans, otherwise known as Ziantane, and that is Xiantayne.
All right, and you can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Second Place. That's all I have.
That's it.
And
that's it. That's all I have.
Could follow me on Twitter, but the immensity of my tweets would drown your soul, so you might not want to. But if you do want to, it's at Sinix, SINNIX.
You're not
You have to read
done,
the rest.
Jeff. You're not done, Jeff.
All the blue.
Is there more?
All the blue is
I
you.
gotta scroll down. What? Since when do we have so many things to talk about? You can follow this show on Twitter, where there's lots of tweets to go on, at the OMG Hour. You can follow our gaming archaeologist, the great Mr. Sid Bolton, at Sid Bolton, that's Sid with a Y. And, of course, you can get the show notes on omgnexus.com, and you can follow the website on Twitter at omgnexus.
Okay, now you're done.
I'm scrolling more.
.com?
Scrolling more.
Okay.
omgnexus.com.
Okay, we're done.
I said .com.
We're done.
Did you?
We're done. Shh. Okay. We'll be back next Wednesday. Have a great week, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Cheers.
Whoa, wait a minute. Jeff, do you have a license for those guns?
What?
Do you have
What
a
are
license?
talking
Do you have a license for those finger guns?
I do. It's right here.
Are you sure?
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Good. I want to make sure you're licensed for those guns.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay, good. This has been an OMGNexus.com production.